Hi friends, it's story time with Miss Vivian Dorothy. Let's call her. 1, 2, 3. Dorothy. Oh, hello friends. Oh, hi Dorothy. Hi. High five. Woo, good job. So Dorothy, I have a super fun new theme this week. Really? Yeah. I'm gonna see if you and our friends can guess maybe what it is. Okay. So it's something that you eat. It is something really yummy that we like to eat as dessert. Oh, I think I know. I don't know, Dorothy. It's not cookies. Oh, it's something really cold. Oh, and we like to lick it. Oh, I know. Do you think you know? If you said ice cream, then you got it right. Good job, Dorothy. Don't we love ice cream? I do. So today, Dorothy, I brought a book to share with us. So if you could grab it, then we can learn some things about ice cream. Now, I wonder what you know about ice cream already. Oh, I'm sure that you have a favorite flavor and that you know lots of things about ice cream, but maybe what you might not know is that in this book, we're gonna learn a lot about the history of ice cream. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, do you think that they've always had ice cream in this world? Do you think that it's always been the same? I don't know. I don't know either. Let's see what this book is all about. Okay. So help me read the title, Dorothy. Okay. What sight word is that? The. Okay, now let's sound this one out. Sk. Sk. Oh, the two O's that make the ooh. Scoop on. What do you think this says? Ice cream. You got it. The scoop on ice cream. The scoop on ice cream. Look at the picture, Dorothy. Yeah, look at all the flavors. Do you have a favorite flavor? I'm not sure. I like them all. Oh, you like them all? I don't know. It's hard for me to choose also. But let's find out some fun facts about ice cream. Okay. All right. Let's see. The author is Bonnie Williams and the illustrator is Scott Burroughs. Ooh, look at all those ice cream cups. You know lots of things about ice cream, right? You know it's delicious and you know your favorite flavor. You also know that ice cream comes in a cup or cone and that you eat it with a spoon or just lick it right off the scoop. But what do you know about the history of ice cream? Do you know who invented it and when? Or which United States presidents loved ice cream? I don't know. Today, if you have a hankering for ice cream, it's easy enough to find some. You can just buy it from the supermarket or go to your favorite ice cream parlor or order a scoop or two. But did you know that it wasn't always so easy to satisfy your craving? And do you know where those scoops came from and how they were made? That's where this book comes in. By the time you finish reading this book, you'll know the answers to these questions and many more. You'll be a history of fun stuff expert on ice cream. Oh, that sounds fun. You guys have already learned to be such good experts at writing and drawing and coloring, so it would be fun to be an expert on ice cream. The history of ice cream is not an easy one to piece together. Sometimes it seems about as clear as a bowl of ice cream soup and just as messy. What historians do know for sure is that a frozen treat has been enjoyed for at least 2,000 years. 2,000 years? Wow, is that a lot? That's a lot because we're in the year 2000. That's crazy. In ancient times, snow and ice were combined with flavors like honey, fruit, and juice. Nero, a Roman emperor who ruled ancient Italy from the year 54 to the year 68, that's a long time ago, he would make his slaves run up high in the mountains for ice. So take a look at this mountain. So in the winter, this whole mountain might be covered in ice and snow, but in the springtime, there might only be ice and snow way at the top. So he would make his slaves make them run all the way to the top to get ice or snow. And when the slaves returned, they added fruit and juice to the ice to make something we'd recognize today as a slushy or an Italian ice. And that was kind of the beginning of ice cream. Wow, that's crazy. The Chinese were probably the first to mix ice and snow with milk, making a creamy dish that's more closely resembles the ice cream that we know and love today. There's a record of frozen dairy treats made of milk, flour, and camphor as far back as the Tang Dynasty that began in the year 618 and ended in 907. That's a really long time ago. Camphor is a substance that comes from the camphor tree. It has a very strong smell, and today it's used in mothballs, gels for colds, and insect repellent. Just don't eat any of those. Ew, that doesn't sound good at all. It took centuries for ice cream to make its way all the way from China to Europe. So if you look at this map, it shows you China and the start of Europe is over there. But maybe if you have a globe at home, you can find China, and then you can see how far it would be to go to Europe. And I think it talks about Italy, and you can try to find Italy. But there are many legends about how that happened, and one of those most famous ones involves a man you have already maybe heard of. His name is Marco Polo. And in the 1200s, that's still a really long time ago, he traveled from Italy to China. And some say that he returned with a recipe for ice cream, but there's no evidence to support this. But regardless, by the 1600s, ice cream was enjoyed throughout Europe. And in the latter half of the century, it was being served at the royal court of England. And not long after this, ice cream arrived in the American colonies. So before it came here, where we live, it was in Europe and China. Ice cream had been a part of the American way of life since the very beginning, even before the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776. When the states were still colonies of England, the well-to-do would serve ice cream at parties and other events. So they already were celebrating with ice cream like we do. Do you like to have ice cream at your birthday party? Yeah, me too. One night in 1744, the governor of Maryland colony served ice cream after dinner. And we know this because one of his guests was so amazed by the dessert that he wrote about it in a letter. And this is the oldest record of ice cream in the Americas. So a long time ago, they didn't have videos, so we don't have videos, but the reason why we know about certain things is because they were written down. And so now we know, a long time ago, we could still read their letters, so now we know what happened. Our founding fathers and mothers had a real sweet tooth for ice cream too. In 1790, George Washington was a year into being our very first president of the United States. And that summer, he and his wife, Martha, spent $200 on ice cream. Now, $200, that's a lot of money, right? Do you have $200? I don't know, but that's a lot. But $200 back then would be like $4,000 or $5,000 nowadays. So that was a lot of money to spend on ice cream. He really loved it. Another founding father and the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, is known for having done many things. He wrote the Declaration of Independence. He started his own university, the University of Virginia. But did you know that he also loved ice cream? What? He kept a recipe for vanilla ice cream written in his own handwriting. That's pretty cool. Until the mid-1800s, making ice cream was hard work and took hours to be done by hand. But then in 1843, so that's still a really, really long time ago. That's over 100 years ago, but getting closer to nowadays. This lady named Nancy Johnson patented the first ice cream maker to make the work a little bit easier. And this is how her machine worked. She had two cans, a smaller one and a bigger one. And she would put all the ice cream ingredients in the smaller one, and the flavoring and the sugar and milk. And then you would add ice in the bigger bucket with salt, and then you would turn it with this wheel. They call it a crank, and so you would use the crank to churn the ingredients in the smaller can. And this made the mixture smooth and creamy, while the ice in the larger can would freeze it. Because if you just have milk and you add sugar, then all it does is make it sweet, right? But you have to freeze it, and then it makes it into that creamy, smooth, yummy ice cream that we love. Because of Nancy Johnson's invention, more people were able to experience the joy of eating ice cream. And another great fact to know is when a man, Jacob Fussell, opened the first ice cream factory. So up until that point, they could only eat ice cream if they made it themselves at home. But now someone opened a factory that made lots and lots and lots of ice cream where people could buy it. Like you can buy it at the store. That's awesome. With ice cream available to everyone, the stage was now set for classic ice cream dishes to take shape. And speaking of taking shape, you might not believe it, but there was a time when the ice cream cone didn't even exist. What? No cones? You could only eat it in cups? The best evidence shows that there were a number of people who independently came up with the idea of eating ice cream out of an edible cone. However, cones weren't popular until the St. Louis World's Fair in 1904. That's 96 years ago, where many inventors sold them. And after that, there was no turning back. The ice cream cone was here to stay. Actually, my math was wrong. That would be 116 years ago. But that's a long time ago, and that's where they started eating ice cream out of cones. How cool is that? What about ice cream sundaes? Like the invention of the ice cream cone, the origin of the ice cream sundae is up for debate. Some believe it was created by one person in Wisconsin that put chocolate drizzle on top, and some say it was invented by another person in New York that put cherry syrup and a cherry on top. What do you think? Which one do you think is first? Which one do you like better? Last but not least, what about ice cream novelties? You know, like ice cream ice cream sandwiches, chocolate-covered ice cream pops, ice cream bars. Those are all so yummy. The first ice cream novelty was in vanilla ice cream covered in a chocolate shell known as an Eskimo pie. You could still buy Eskimo pies. It's so yummy, just chocolate-covered vanilla ice cream. It was invented in 1920 by a high school teacher in Iowa who also sold ice cream. He got inspired by an 8th grade old customer that couldn't decide between buying either a chocolate bar or vanilla ice cream. And he thought, well, let's put them together and see what happens. Yum. So think about it. What do you need to make ice cream? What is that? Is that a cow? What does a cow make? It makes milk. You need milk or cream to make ice cream. So as you know, you can find ice cream everywhere these days. It is so much a part of our culture that when immigrants arrived in the 1900s, they were served ice cream. Today, almost 10% of milk production in the US goes to manufacturing of ice cream in every flavor and type imaginable. The ice cream industry makes a profit, are you ready for this? Of $10 billion each year. $10 billion, that's so much. I can't even explain to you how much that is. That is so much money. That's because everybody loves ice cream. How does the ice cream industry make so much money? It's because we all love ice cream. The average American eats about 80 cups of ice cream every year. Depending on the size of your scoop, that's 2 or 4 scoops every 4.5 days. Ice cream has been so popular in 1984, Ronald Reagan, our 40th president of the US, named July as the National Ice Cream Month. And every year, the official National Ice Cream Day is the 3rd Sunday of July. And this is what Ronald Reagan looked like. Do you know what the most popular flavor of ice cream is over here? What do you think? That's a good guess. The answer probably won't surprise you. It's vanilla followed by chocolate. Combined, they make up to about 50% of ice cream sales. So that means that all of the ice cream sold makes at least half of the ice cream sold is either going to be chocolate or vanilla. Which of those 2 flavors do you prefer? Do you have your own favorite flavor? Do you know which flavor is your best friend's favorite flavor? Oh, let me think. I think my favorite flavor is butter pecan. I love butter pecan. Congratulations, you've come to the end of this book. You are now an official History of Fun Stuff expert on ice cream. Go ahead and impress your friends and family with all the cool things that you know about the world's coolest treat. And the next time you take a lick off your scoop and ice cream, think about the years of history that went into it and enjoy the history of ice cream. So I'm curious, friends, do you like eating your ice cream out of a cup? Do you like eating it in a cone? How do you like it, Dorothy? Oh, I love licking the ice cream. So I like cones, really. I change it around. Sometimes I get a cone, sometimes I get a cup. I like them both. You know, if you put ice cream in front of me, I'm gonna eat it. What about you, Dorothy? I think I will too. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed learning some history about ice cream, and we'll see you soon at our next story. Bye, friends.